Hey guys, what's going on? This is Derek. Wow, that was so loud, and that's why I wear these headphones so I can hear how it sounds. Is that better? Welcome to episode 19 of my Facebook Live challenge, going live for 30 days in a row. So far, we're doing good, and today we're going to be talking about backing up your hard drive. So let me go ahead and pull up my live feed real quick on my phone, just so I can see those questions if you have any as we go. Just take 2 seconds here. And then go ahead and comment below while I'm doing this if you guys currently, how you guys currently handle your backing up of the drives. If it's the hope and a prayer and you don't have a backup, or maybe use external drives, I'm super curious to see how you guys do it. Let me pull this up. It might take it a second to jump in here. I'll tell you what, I'll let it kind of think about life. Hey, how's it going, guys? Obviously, I'm feeling good today. The sun is shining, but it's also crazy windy outside, so you'll probably hear a lot of that in the live feed. So what I want to talk about today is how I handle all of those media files, all those movie files, all of those Photoshop files that are huge. And it was crazy. As I had this idea to do today's live, I was like, well, let me go grab all of my hard drives and let's just, I don't know, apparently they have all ended up all over the house, but I have stacks and stacks and terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of information. There's some over here you can't see because they're actually being used right now. But anyway, that's crazy. I couldn't believe how many hard drives I had. It's just over the years, I've just purchased more and more and, move files around and shuffle them and things like that. And I know it's terrible. I know I should be much better at it, but at least I have backups of everything. So usually the way I handle my files is I'll typically buy hard drives in pairs. So in this case, when I buy a set, I'll buy two of the same. And so I'll use one that my main files live on, and then I'll always have a clone. Or in this case, maybe I'm working off my computer, and then I'll clone these and I'll leave one at the office downtown, and maybe I'll put one, give it to a family member to keep at their house or whatever. That way, if there's ever fire, theft, or flood or something like that, I have a backup to go to. So over the years, it's changed. And one thing that stayed the same, though, is I usually use an app called Carbon Copy Cloner. Let me show you that real quick. I'm going to jump in here. All right. So with Carbon Copy Cloner, it's super, super simple. Just plug in your hard drives and you can click on the source. The source is where the file's coming from. So whatever you've got plugged into. I'll click on my master drive. And then my destination is what am I cloning to? And that's my slave drive. And you can name these whatever the heck you want. That's a side note here. I'll talk about that in a minute, but that's all it takes. And then you can do the safety net button. What that means is it will clone all of the files, and anything that changes, it will make a new update to that. And then if it runs out of space, it will delete the oldest files first that aren't a true clone. So you can also turn the safety net off and have these drives match identically bit by bit. That's all it takes. And then when you're ready, just hit clone down here, and you can even create tasks and have these scheduled and have it run automatically, send you an email when it's done. It's really handy. In this case, I did it right before just to make sure it wouldn't take forever. But when it's done, it'll show you how much it backed up and how long it took and all of that kind of fun stuff. So I really highly recommend Carbon Copy Cloner if you don't have it. Another one that I've used in the past is called Super Duper. Let's see, Super Duper. And honestly, I haven't been using it much lately, and it looks like there's an update and whatever, but that's an option too. It's called Super Duper, and it basically is a much simpler approach. You just click where you're copying from, what you're copying to, and hit update, and it should, or clone or whatever the button is. But anyway, that's currently how I back up my files and what I do there. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll work directly off of my computer when I'm working on video files or graphic design. A lot of times I'll work directly on my hard drive, and I have that sync up with Dropbox. So anytime I hit save, it syncs up immediately to the cloud, and then that way I always have a backup on Dropbox as well. And then when I'm done with that project, I'll archive it and I'll move it over to a hard drive, and then that way I have immediate access to it here in case I don't have access to the internet somehow or some way. But also, it just is another level of redundancy. So I'll have it in the cloud. I could literally have everything in here get destroyed, and I could walk into a Mac store, log into my account, and have all of my files. So to me, that's a huge peace of mind and a huge reassurance. So I use Dropbox pretty heavily for that. Now, the problem you run into, though, is your hard drive space on your computer. So right now, this one's got about 500 gigs. but you might only have 256 gigs or, something small like that, maybe even a terabyte. But at this point, if your files are huge and you've got a lot of stuff you're doing, eventually you're going to run out of space. So that's where you're kind of required to do some sort of external storage. And once you do that, it's so easy. This has happened to me so many times. So I'll be sitting on the couch doing some design and working on an external drive, and it's tethered with a USB cable. And then all of a sudden you move just wrong and it gets disconnected. So, that is obviously the worst case scenario, but I've had that happen so many times where, you just bump it wrong and all of a sudden you've got a drive that's corrupted. So that's why it's so important to have it backed up, because it's not if it's going to crash, it's when it crashes, especially with these external drives. So that's what I've done in the past. Now, moving forward, I'm currently on the market for and looking at buying probably a Drobo. I don't know if you've heard of them before. Okay, let me pull it up real quick. So this is Drobo, and they have lots of different options, different sizes to meet your needs. But essentially, it's a little box filled with hard drives, and when you move your files over to it, it will clone those files across multiple drives. And you can do what's called hot swapping. So if one of them ever goes out, you can pull the drive out, put a new one in, and it'll immediately start writing those files to the other drive. So it's the most secure way to have your files backed up and safe. So anyway, this is a Drobo. That's what I'm looking at getting here, hopefully in the near future. So the other thing I want to show you today is something simple, a little tip, little trick that I learned, and that is it's pretty dumb, but I think it's kind of cool. You can change the icons on your thumb drive, and this is probably so elementary, I don't even care. I just thought it would be a fun thing to show you today. So if you, let's see, I don't know if you can see. Okay, yeah, you can. Perfect. So these are the icons by default on this hard drive. And what you can do is go to a site like Icon Finder, as an example. And you can search for anything you want. In this case, I just typed in monster because, I don't know, it sounded fun. And some of these are premium, so you have to spend money to get. But like this little pink monster was free. So I click on him, and I can download the PNG, or in this case, it's already got the ICO file for Windows or the ICNS file for Mac. So I just download that real quick. It'll throw it into my download stack. And then I can see this guy right here. I'd already brought him to my desktop. So what I'm going to do is if I want to put this on my master drive icon, I'll click on that and I'll hit Command I, or right click and go to Get Info. Boom. All right. So with that there, I can actually click on this top left icon, and one of two things. I can drag this icon file right on the top of it, let it go, and it'll immediately update that image to that icon for my hard drive. Or let's say that you already had, let's say I already had it this way. I could have opened this drive, or okay, here's an example. Let's say I want to put it back to how it was. I'll click on this slave drive icon and hit Command I to get those info. I'm going to click over here on the top left and hit Command C to copy it. I'll click back over on this icon and hit Command V to paste it. And now my icon is switched back. So anyway, something fun that you can do if you're trying to keep all of your hard drives at a visual, a quick glance, trying to see which one is which. Now, the other thing that's kind of fun, whatever, is you could Google hard drive names. So let's go hard drive name ideas. And there's a whole bunch of stuff to come up with creative. I don't know about you, but like most of my drives have some sort of creative name, like, master or slave, or like bunker. I've got one that's called design. I've got, what are these ones called? I forget. But the point is, you can name them too if you feel like geeking out over that. So anyway, I hope that is fun and helpful. And I hope you enjoyed that. So if there's any questions, let me just check real quick and see if anybody had any questions before I duck out for the day. I'm still not seeing my live feed. It's being kind of weird. There it is. Boom. All right, cool. So so coming up, let's see, today's episode, 19 we said, 20? So I think Monday or Tuesday, I've got some surprises queued up. I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, going to have a guest with me. Got some fun stuff coming up and looking forward to that. And it's not my wife this time, although it could be. Maybe she'll show up too. But actually a friend of mine going to do, we're going to do a podcast-esque type live. It should be fun. So if you have any questions you want us to get to, be sure to comment below or comment in the feed here. I'd love to check that out. Love to see what you guys are up to, what you're working on. And wanted to say thanks again for tuning in. You can follow me at D Mitchell Design or on our new YouTube channel. Check out the link below. Love to have you subscribe if you're not already so you can see when we post those new tutorials coming in soon. And just want to say thanks again for tuning in, guys. Hope you have an awesome weekend, and we will see you tomorrow.